Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm going to try something a little bit different today. We've got some questions that I asked on my Instagram stories a little while ago if anyone was interested in a Q&A style video, and I got a few responses. So I thought, since I'm going to be away next week, this might be quite a good time to try this. And then the following week we'll do another Tour Tales video. So we've got kind of a few gamer stuff coming, like game stuff coming up, but we've also got something that's a little bit different. So I'll start with, what do I do? So for a living, hopefully it is kind of clear enough on some of my socials or on my stream, but for a living I do marketing. I do like social media marketing, email marketing, that sort of thing. I typically do it for, or I used to do it for legal, but now I do it for gamer conventions basically. So I'm moving into that side of the industry, but I do marketing as my kind of overall profession. The negatives and positives of streaming to an international audience. Okay, so this one is interesting. I really enjoy streaming to an international audience because, you know, the people that I meet and the kind of connections I can make with people are unlike anything else. Like the availability of meeting people worldwide that I would not normally ever have the opportunity to meet is amazing. However, obviously there is things like cultural differences or lack of understanding sometimes on both fronts. So there definitely are a few downsides, but I think the fact that I can literally make friends across the world and talk to them on a day-to-day basis is absolutely amazing, and I wouldn't change it for anything. My favorite movie or video game genre. So I mean, naturally, obviously I like The Witcher, but I also really like the Marvel universe. I actually really like chick flicks as well, so Legally Blonde is something I've watched since I was really small. I like a lot of Disney stuff as well. Honestly, I like all sorts, but I think The Witcher is something that I'm really kind of interested in at the moment and really into. I've always really liked the Marvel universe, particularly Groot, obviously. But so as a genre, I guess kind of like action, fantasy, that sort of thing is probably my main preference. If I wasn't a gamer, what would I do with my free time? I can kind of answer this question anyway because I spend a lot of time reading, really love reading. I love learning, so I'd probably do a lot more learning of stuff as well. I also really enjoy like knitting and crafts and that sort of thing, so probably lots of knitting and crafting type things. Again, this is all kind of stuff that I do anyway, but gaming kind of takes over a lot of my free time, especially because obviously I love streaming and content creation, so that side of things do kind of really take over my time. But I do obviously also really love like business management and that side of things as well. So yeah, there's quite a lot that I'd probably fill my time with that I already kind of fill my time with, but I do more of if I didn't game and spend time making content. So what gear would I recommend to get started as a creator? Microphones are really important. This is something that I kind of really struggle with throughout my kind of content creation career. I've never really had a good microphone. I've always had to like use other people's. I'm actually even using somebody else's now. It's not even my microphone. But I think having good audio is really, really important. So investing in a microphone early is quite good. Cameras, obviously you can, like, it's nice to have a high quality camera as well, but I don't think it's as important depending on what kind of content you're going to do. If you're doing gaming content, then obviously cameras aren't important. But if you're going to be like a just chatting streamer, you probably do need a decent camera. But for the time, you know, to start with, microphone, and just thinking about kind of consistent branding, consistent overlays, and ways to engage your audience are like the most important things, I think. I've been doing this for some time. Obviously, I haven't achieved like major success or anything compared to other people, but I have been doing this for a long time, and I have built like a really kind of a lovely community of people. And I think those are kind of the biggest things that are important for me. I try and prioritize like the ways that I engage everybody, making sure that everybody feels like they're heard, and making sure I keep up to date with what everybody's up to, because at the end of the day, these are all my friends. So that's probably, I think having stuff that can help you do that is the most important. So microphone is obviously priority number one. You can also, however, just stream from consoles these days as well. So you don't necessarily actually need like a decent gaming PC or anything. You can literally just do it from your console if you need to. I mean, you can even stream from your phone these days as well. The world has changed a lot, and there is a lot more availability of these other tools that you can use. Advice for new creators. Okay, so I've already kind of touched on this because obviously I'm talking about engaging your audience is the most important. I think just turn the preview off is my biggest tip. Turn the preview off. Don't be like looking at yourself while you're streaming. It will just put you off. Focus on the chat. Focus on who you're speaking to. Focus on the output rather than focusing on like how it looks. I think like it's so easy to get dragged into kind of paying attention to yourself and feeling self-conscious when you are live streaming, because obviously people are there, they're watching you, you're live. Like you can't take back what you say once you've said it live on Twitch. But you know, if you kind of ignore the fact that you like just don't look at yourself, is really helpful. I always turn the preview off on no matter what software I'm using, OBS, Streamlabs, whatever. Always turn the preview off, and I never have my stream like playing live. I only ever do it when I need to check, so I'll disable on a be right back screen to make sure it's playing or whatever. I will turn the preview back on as and when I need it, but I won't leave it running during my live stream. What was my first gaming experience and what made you become a gamer? Well, I used to play Old School Runescape back in the day, but my cousins were always kind of very into like video games and stuff. So I used to play games with them. I played Battle for Westnorth with one of my cousins when I was younger. And we had kind of like game cubes and stuff, but we never had this, me and my brothers didn't have this stuff ourselves. It was always on other people's consoles or other people's PCs up until RuneScape came out. And then I could play it on my granny's computer, and it was amazing. So in the end, I started playing that at home. I used to, obviously, back then we had dial-up, so I used to use like the internet or the phone line to be able to play RuneScape, and that was probably like the first kind of time I started really playing a game online and joining a community. And that's probably where a lot of my obsession came from. Before that, I played things like Sims. I used to go to other people's houses and play stuff on their consoles. Like I say, my cousins had lots of stuff. I used to play Tomb Raider when I went to go and visit my dad. So I used to play a lot of stuff anyway, but I never actually like had something at home I could play on, apart from like PlayStation 2, I think, where I used to play Bugs Life and Cars. But RuneScape was the thing that I started to really feel that community aspect to with games that really dragged me into the world of becoming a gamer. Does playing games for your career impact your enjoyment of them? Yes, without a doubt. However, it's just taken me a long time. So I think when I first started, again, you were like, one of the biggest pieces of advice you would have probably been given was be live as long as you can when you're streaming on Twitch. Make as much content as you can, and you know, get yourself out there, all the rest of it. And in the end, if I'm being completely honest, I burnt myself out. I stuck to one game. I played it all the time, and not only I burnt out, but also my PC burnt out. So between me and my computer, we were both tired. I've got myself into a much more kind of solid rhythm now, where I try and be open with what I'm going to play. So I will kind of post in Discord or something and be like, these are the days and these that I'm streaming, days and times, and this is what I'll be playing. And it's harder to grow that way because I'm not tapping into just one community. I'm trying to tap into loads of different ones, but it's much better for my enjoyment of the games because I'm not forcing myself to play the same game on repeat. And I think that's where you can kind of really put yourself into a box. Like I say, it's a lot slower to grow that way, but it's for me, it's much more preferable because I'm not pushing myself to play the same game over and over that I might not necessarily be enjoying at the time. It means I have a lot more kind of freedom to move around, and it impacts my enjoyment of the game way less. But when I was sticking to one game, so like when I was playing Apex Legends only, it was really, really, really difficult to stay enjoying the game. It was like I was only playing it because I thought that's what I had to do, rather than because I actually enjoyed playing it. So by jumping around, growth is slower, but my enjoyment of the game stays. And as long as I'm open with my community and I tell them when I'm playing what, so that they can watch the streams of the games that they enjoy, it works on both sides. Have you ever met someone famous? I met Gok1 at a random festival in my hometown once, and Sam Bailey, who won the X Factor, I met both of them on the same day, and Simon Webb from Blue. Met literally all of those three on the same day. But beyond that, I haven't really met anyone famous. I think that's kind of it. So I haven't met many famous people, but one day I'm hoping my brother becomes famous and then I can just say that I know him. So we'll get there. Would you like to be famous? I think yes and no. I'm enough of an introvert that if I was famous, I wouldn't be that scared of like paparazzi seeing me while I was out and about, because I don't go out and about. So I think of people that do become famous, because obviously like you hear a lot of these stories of famous people where they're kind of saying like, oh, you know, I have no freedom, my life is very kind of constricted, or the rest of it. I don't think that would be as much of a problem for me. I'm also quite a private person, generally speaking. So obviously like this Q&A, I'm trying to be quite open, but generally speaking, I'm actually quite a private person, and I don't plaster a lot of my life online, really. Which I know is hard to believe as a content creator, but I do keep a lot to myself. I think, like, yes, I would like to be famous to a point, I guess, mainly because I think I could handle it, but I'd like to be well known in the area I enjoy, not just for fame's sake, if that makes sense. You know, I'd like to like build connections and friendships and stuff as, you know, a content creator, but I'm not interested in being like, I don't know, a famous musician or something, if that makes sense. If I could change one thing that happened, what would it be? There is one thing that springs to mind. In one of my jobs, I accidentally emailed a database to, it wasn't a massive database, but it was a spreadsheet with some email addresses on it that should not have been sent. Thankfully, the person was really, really honest, really nice, but if I could take that back, I would, because that's my biggest career mistake to date. Not that juicy, I know, it's not that juicy, but yeah, if I could take that back, I absolutely would. That sits with me, it haunts me. Every time I now attach something to an email, I get very paranoid, and I also hate responding to like email chains and group chats because of it. So yeah, that would be one thing I would change for sure. If you could live anywhere, where would that be? This is quite a difficult question. So I really like Cornwall. I love Cornwall, in fact, so I'd love to live in Cornwall. But my parents live in Scotland, and I love Scotland as well, and I would like to live near my parents. But the problem being that Scotland is really cold. So I think I'd struggle with the temperature in Scotland. So maybe somewhere like New Zealand if my family were still there, because my family all come from New Zealand, because New Zealand kind of strikes me as like the kind of like a bit of Cornwall, bit of Wales, bit of Scotland, but warmer than Scotland. But for the time being, I'm happy where I am. But, you know, long term, somewhere more picturesque would probably be nice than London. Favourite holiday destination? Italy, without a doubt. Without a doubt, absolutely adore Italy. It's my favourite place in the world, my favourite country in the world. Like, I would love to live there. Going back to the previous question, I'd love to live there, but I can't speak Italian, so it's a major drawback for living there. But it's a beautiful place, absolutely love it. I would very, very happily, I'd go to Italy anytime I could, for sure. If I could hang out with anyone, dead or alive, for the day, who and why? The first thing that springs to mind, so my mum's, or my grandpa on my mum's side was actually my step-grandpa. My mum's dad died when she was like 7. And I think the first person that springs to mind it would be really lovely if I could do anyone dead or alive, it would be to meet him, because I never obviously met him. And he sounded like, everything I hear about him from my family makes him sound like he was an incredible person. He was a pilot, he was, you know, a businessman, he was a little bit quirky and weird, and I think I would really love to meet him if I could. However, I feel like I should really have somebody that's like a famous person, that's like well known. I don't know, maybe David Tennant, because I love Doctor Who, would probably be another one. If it had to be somebody still alive, it would be David Tennant, but if it is somebody that's dead, it would be my blood relative grandpa that I never got to meet. So that concludes the questions. That's all of them that I got through. So let me know if you've got any other questions. Pop them in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed this. It is a little bit different, obviously not gamer related. I have no idea whether you guys will like it or not. A lot of you that speak to me on stream, I talk about what happens, or like, you know, I would answer these questions there and then. So this might not be kind of as appealing, because, you know, you could literally ask me these questions on stream and I would probably answer them. But I just thought this would be a little bit different format to try, and an actual kind of designated space where I'm sat and I'm actually answering questions as my only focus. Pop a comment below if you are thinking of a different question you'd like me to answer in a future Q&A, if I do another one. Otherwise, I'll just respond to the comment and let you know if it's not been well received. But anyway, yeah, let me know. I will see you in the next video. I will be doing a Tall Tale video as the next one, so I'll see you in a Sea of Thieves Tall Tale one. So that'll be our 3rd Tall Tale that we've done so far. We're on our way to the Shores of Gold, which is very exciting. So I will see you again next week. Lots of love. Bye.